Hey friends, it's good to be back with you for another yoga chat that we like to have. Tonight, I'm super excited to talk about private sessions. I am having a little bit of rosé this evening because it's a celebratory thing, right? We're talking about this beautiful idea of private yoga that's tailored for you. And we're going to talk all about who might benefit most from thinking about taking private sessions and kind of what that can look like or what to expect or what might lead you to private yoga. So we are talking all about private sessions, which I think can feel really intimidating. And I think it's always great when someone signs up, takes, and I wanted to hopefully maybe break down a little bit tonight about what private sessions are, so that maybe if you've been thinking about private sessions or wondering, well, who does private yoga, or how does that work, or what kinds of things could we do, to hopefully talk a little bit about that. And if you have questions as we go, please pop them into the comments, and I will try to answer them for you right here while we're doing this. So, one of the number one reasons that some people do private sessions is simply a matter of scheduling. So they have maybe taken a workshop with me or come to one of my classes, but in general, their schedule doesn't match my offerings. And so it's really hard for them to be able to come to a public class. So that's pretty common. I unfortunately cannot be everywhere at all times, and we all have very different schedules. So what might work for me doesn't inherently maybe always match what works best for you. And so private sessions, we work together and we schedule those out so that they work for both of us. And so that's a really common um, reason why a lot of people take the private route, is that they can then schedule it in when it's most convenient or more convenient for them. And it's also not just a time schedule thing, but also a style. So I only teach, for example, Yoga Sculpt on Monday nights at 5:30. So if that doesn't work for you, it can feel like, well, there's no way I can ever get to Yoga Sculpt. Or I do restorative style, usually once a month-ish. And if that's your favorite, you might want more of that style. And so not only is the scheduling convenient for privates because it's at a time and a day that works better for you, but you can also pick and choose what style of yoga you would like to do. I have the ability to offer lots of different styles beyond just vinyasa or sculpt. There's restorative. I can do yin and chair yoga, also some meditation. And so you can even mix and match. I do several that are half vinyasa, half restorative. I've done some with meditation at times. And you can also adjust each session. So you might want restorative. I had a really long week at work or a really stressful week, or I have something coming up and I just want some time. I need to just do a slower style class. And then the next week, now I want to incorporate some weights. I want to do a stronger flow, that type of thing. We can tailor each practice if that's what you like. And so not only is it really flexible in scheduling for you, but also what we do in the practice can also be adjusted for your wants and your needs each session. There's also a lot of flexibility in the length of your session as well as the length of your time doing private sessions. So I offer 60-minute and 30-minute private sessions. So a lot of times that gives people a chance to, well, I think I want to do this, but maybe I just want 30 minutes to start out with and see if I like that. Maybe I don't need the full hour. Maybe I definitely want the full hour, and so I want to go that route. Additionally, there are people that work with me for private yoga all the time and all year round, year after year. And then I have some people who it's less frequent, or it's for different seasons of time. Maybe in the summer, they have more time. I have more time. And so we do private sessions in the summer when other schedules are more flexible or inconsistent. Or they mix and match. They do 2 privates a month, and then they come to some public classes. There's no fixed way of doing private sessions. It's not always 1 hour once a week forever, right? It can be 30 minutes for the first month as kind of a trial, and maybe it's every other week, maybe it's every week, maybe it's once a month, right? We can make it whatever you need and whatever you want, or whatever fits best into your budget and your overall picture. And if once a month is what you can do and what's going to help you feel good, that's great. We'll do that, right? And as you'll see later when we talk about some of the reasons that people might prefer private sessions, some of them aren't going to be forever reasons, and some are. And so, again, that's totally something we can tailor to fit your goals and your needs and your wants. And each practice, I kind of hinted at this a little bit in like the style can be different. But in general, private sessions are tailored for you. The practice works around you and your goals. So if you've taken a public class, but you feel like you would like to move a little slower, maybe the pacing just doesn't feel quite right for you in the public classes. Pacing is one of the things that is notoriously hard. It's probably what stresses me out the most in leading yoga, is trying to get a sense of how fast people are breathing as a collective and then trying to find that middle ground of a speed for the practice. And so I'm not going to match everybody. Some people are going to want to move or breathe faster. Some people are going to want to move and breathe slower, hold poses longer, move more quickly, right? We're going to have a spectrum of that. And so if that is you on a consistent basis, you wish you liked the class, but you wish it was a little slower, or you like the class, you wish it was a little faster, those are great reasons to have a private session, because then I can tailor it just for you, and I will see and know your breath and move at that pace. And that's great. There is no right or wrong for pacing. We just all have a pace. You breathe at the pace that you breathe, and that is great. And so I don't want you to feel like you have to change that to fit into a public class. So it's also fine in a public class, PS, to go at a slower or little faster pace. If you know kind of we're doing sun salutations, you can get to down dog half a beat before we do, or half a beat after we do, right? That it's also fine to take your own pace in a public class. But sometimes if it's a consistent difference and you're like, I would just like a class that went at the pace I would like to go. And, as Lori says, exactly, definitely check out her comment there. Thank you, Lori. I'm trying to read it here as I go. And I think Thank you very much for saying and sharing your story to help people maybe connect and say, oh, maybe, these are a good thing for me to try. I have people that go both ways. I have some who take private because they want to go a little faster. I have some that practice because they want to go a little slower. And so it's tailored to you in pace, but it's also tailored to you for your goals. Goals is probably the number one reason why people take private sessions, in my experience. So sometimes they want to start yoga, but they're nervous. They've never done yoga. The idea of going to a public class, I think we envision handstands and super bendy people and maybe not friendly. I don't know. Which none of that is the actual case, by the way, at least in my classes. But it can be really nerve-wracking. And so private sessions might be a great way to learn some of the foundations and get a good sense of what yoga is. We can stop. I can answer questions. We can talk about alignment and positioning, which I just simply can't do in a public class that continues to move, right? And so having kind of that time where we could answer questions and I can check in. How does that feel? Does that feel quite right? Let's make this adjustment. Let's try it this way. And so it can be a great kind of on-ramp to taking public classes. Like if your goal is, down the road, I would really just like to take the Wednesday vinyasa class. I just don't think I'm ready to do that. Private sessions can be an on-ramp for you, that we can cover kind of those foundations, get you feeling comfortable in vinyasa style and the components so that you feel confident when you start coming and you transition to the public class. It's also, I have some people who do a mix. They do some private. It maybe started as an on-ramp, but they like the appeal of the private class to continue to tweak and make adjustments, but they also take some public classes too. And so that's kind of that flexibility of designing your private sessions how you want them to be. There's not a one size fits all. I also have some people who start coming to the public classes first and they like the public classes, they're enjoying yoga, and they just want some more yoga and they want to explore it more or work on some specific things or make sure that they're doing things in proper alignment, that type of thing. That's pretty common too. And then I have had people who want to kind of what I call like level up, right? That they've been doing yoga, they feel good, and now they have some kind of specific goals. They want to get stronger in this area. They want to really figure out that chaturanga into up dog, or they want to work on arm balances. I've had people that come wanting to work on very specific poses. I want to work on crow, handstands, and that's the reason I'm here. And when I accomplish that, I'm good to go, right? Fine. We can work on those things and we can have kind of that short-term goal and happy to do that, right? I've had people start private sessions because their goal was they realized trying to play with their grandchildren that getting up and down off the floor was becoming harder and they didn't want to lose their agility. And so working on that's a great goal, right? Trying to get them kind of an on-ramp again of getting them to that maintenance kind of stage, right? Where they maybe could come to a public class or take private sessions less regularly. A lesser known but equally important reason that people take private classes is if they're this type of person who might get easily distracted by other people who are in the class, or they get competitive with themselves or judging themselves by what's going on around them, right? Private sessions are a great way to avoid that. You're on your mat, I'm leading, and there's no one else to compare yourself to. So that can be a great way too, especially people who might push themselves too hard in a public class because they don't want to stand out. And so they push into poses or try to do things that they know their body's not ready for, because they're worried about that. So that's another really great reason to think about private sessions. So that's a lot, right? 15 minutes of reasons why you should try private yoga. It's no pressure to try it out. You can also try one. I'm not going to make you lock into 6 months of private sessions. If you're interested, we can try one and go from there. Like I said, I have the 30-minute and the 60-minute options. 30 minutes is $25 and an hour is $40. So again, you can try one, you can try a month. It's totally up to you. Right now, my day job as a professor is less demanding, so I have much more time if it's something you're wanting to try out. And I can let you know all the ways in which we get started. You can reach out to me. You can message me on Facebook. You can email me, yogawithtg@gmail.com. But just let me know. And even if you just have more questions about it, I'm happy to answer those at any point. So just let me know. And again, if you have taken a private session and I forgot something that you think people should know, or you want to share what it's like from the client side, I've loved, like Lori did again. Thank you, Lori, for sharing your story. Feel free to share that in the comments, and everybody can help answer any questions that are posted in the comments as well. Everybody that I'm blessed to work with is so supportive in our community. So if you're not already taking the group classes or connected, I hope that you think about joining us. We would love to have you. So here's to private sessions and to seeing you soon on the mat. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.